You might think celebrities just woke up like this, but as the magazines like to say, stars are just like us. And here are 20 stars who lived life as an unattractive dork before fame came a-knockin' and made them glow up. This muscle-ridden, jacked-up teen dream wasn't always a hunk. Before Zac Efron was shot into fame through Disney's High School Musical franchise, he was a gap-toothed, shaggy-haired theater geek who liked musicals more than girls. He wore braces, was skinny, shy, and spent the majority of his time doing community theater as opposed to going to parties and dating. Zac was 18 when he was cast as Troy in High School Musical, and that's when his whole life changed. Now he can't go anywhere without mobs of girls screaming, "Zefron!
Zefron! Zefron!"
He's managed to maintain a trim physique and six-pack abs through weightlifting and a high-protein diet. You go, Zefron. What a swoon show. This guy definitely started from the bottom, at least looks-wise. You may not know this, but your favorite hip-hop artist started out on a Canadian teen drama called Degrassi: The Next Generation, where he played not a swagged-out rapper, but a nerd in a wheelchair. His name isn't even Drake, it's Aubrey. I'm sure he got his fair share of teasing for having a girl's name. In an interview, Drake said that girls always gave him a hard time for being biracial. They thought he was weird-looking, and according to his music, it sounds like he's still kinda hurt about it. Luckily, Drake was discovered by a rap producer on MySpace, and the rest is history. Now he's fit, trim, mature, and on everyone's must-date list. This one's for all you Nickelodeon fans out there. Josh Peck of Nick's Saturday morning buddy comedy Drake and Josh used to be a cuddly, overweight ball of fun. We related to his dorky sensibility along with his knack for slapstick humor, and couldn't believe it when our cuddly Josh resurfaced recently as a YouTube personality without all that baby fat. Apparently this guy hit the gym, adopted a low-sugar diet, and never looked back. Now he's slim, trim, and possibly even better looking than Drake? The famous Kardashian sister wasn't always drop-dead gorgeous. In fact, she kinda used to look like that little girl from The Ring. Her hair was scraggly, way too long, and her face was pale and chubby. Kylie reportedly always felt like the runt of the litter, and even though she's only 20, she's had multiple surgeries done to boost her appearance and chase away those saying she's not pretty enough. She's had everything done from lip injections to breast augmentation. Just take one look at her Instagram and you won't believe this girl looked like anything but a beauty queen. Now she's arguably one of the hottest girls in the Kardashian clan. Kristen came onto the Hollywood scene through her role as Bella in the Twilight series. This girl wasn't always the apple of every vampire's eye, though. She always felt like an ugly duckling growing up. Apparently, she was bullied for not shaving her legs and wearing gym clothes every day instead of juicy brand jeans. She used to wear her brother's clothes and could easily pass as a boy before the age of 15. At age 17, Kristen was scouted by a talent agent and sent in to audition for the Twilight movie. And the rest is history. Now people are totally digging her androgynous look. We all know Jonathan as the kid from Jerry Maguire. He was only 6 when his star rose to fame, and unfortunately all of that sudden attention proved to be a detriment for the young actor. He said that after his role on Jerry Maguire, the kids at school bullied him relentlessly, telling him he'll never get another job. It didn't help that he wore glasses and had buck teeth. Now 26, Jonathan has really grown into himself. He's ditched the glasses and has gained more confidence in his career as a mature actor. He hasn't forgotten about his horrible experience on the schoolyard as a kid, and has posted stories on social media outlining the teasing and bullying that happened to him when he was younger. Way to pay it forward, Jonathan. The ultimate geek of the wizarding world is all grown up and giving some seriously good-looking face. Matthew was originally cast as Neville Longbottom, the nerdy, sweaty-handed geek of the Hogwarts bunch. He was only 12 when the movie started filming, and was still carrying around some residual baby fat. However, time was good to this British fellow. When the Harry Potter franchise filmed their last movie, he finally grew the hell up. Flash forward about 5 years after the last Harry Potter film, and you're seeing Matthew's picture all over the news. People were just so shocked that a dweeb such as Neville could turn into a prince like Matthew. His character's name, Longbottom, has even been turned into a verb. To longbottom means to make a huge transformation in your appearance. Expecto attractive. Most of us remember Nicholas as the frumpy little boy from the movie About a Boy starring Hugh Grant. When reviews came out for About a Boy, people would criticize his appearance, especially his eyebrows, which they referred to as Vulcan. He also recalls in an interview that a girl on the playground used to make fun of him for having red lips. Well, the joke's on her, because 7 years after his movie debut, Nick is now model hot. He's the face of Tom Ford's new sunglasses line, and has snagged roles in the X-Men movie and indie film Warm Bodies. Oh, and did we mention that his ex-girlfriend is Jennifer Lawrence? You could say that those red lips are serving him well. Before Katy grew up into a gorgeous California girl, she was a homely conservative teen who spent her time reading the Bible. I know, pretty much the last thing you would expect Katy Perry to do. Both of her parents were ministers, so she wasn't allowed to do unruly things like say the word devil or listen to pop music. She was painfully uncool and was reportedly bullied at school because of the awkward shape of her body and the weird clothes she would wear. Things really started to change for this songstress when she moved to LA at age 17. She established herself as a badass rocker chick, completely abandoning her evangelistic squarish ways, and now she's topping the charts on a consistent basis and is arguably one of the most iconic sex symbols of all time. I know what you're gonna say. What? Rihanna can't possibly be on this list. What you're forgetting, though, is that this multi-platinum Grammy-hoarding pop queen wasn't always this put together. Rihanna grew up in a small Barbados town far away from the Hollywood Hills, where she was bullied by the other kids for being light-skinned. She's actually a cross between Barbadian and Irish, which explains her ugly duckling status in school. Her hair was frizzy 24/7, and she said in interviews that she considered herself to be a tomboy growing up. It was music producer Evan Rogers who spotted Rihanna singing while on vacation. He knew he found someone special, and so her transformation began. She turned him into the pop sensation fashion icon we all know and love as Riri. It was only 10 years ago that the Joe Bros were at the peak of their fame. Who can forget their smash hit Paranoid? And what about Burnin' Up? Classics. But let's face it, these boys weren't always getting the crowds hot under the collar. They actually used to be pretty dorky. Take one look at their Pinterest page and they're basically a glowing example of every high school-aged geek. The brothers were raised Christian and swore to celibacy from an early age. They weren't exactly popular, mostly because they were getting cast in touring productions like Beauty and the Beast and Les Mis, and well, swearing off doing anything cool. They were Disney dorks for a long time, and it took a breakup for them to evolve into their own individual super sexy selves. Check out Nick Jonas's famed men's fitness photo shoot and you'll know what I mean. Calvin Harris is one of the most popular DJs of all time. You'd never guess that this man used to be a bona fide geek as a teenager. Growing up, Calvin was tall, lanky, awkward, and pretty shy. He didn't know what to do around girls and was bullied for the way he spoke. Calvin almost quit his dream of becoming a world-renowned DJ when he took a job at a Marks & Spencer in Scotland. He figured he didn't have a shot in hell at making it, and almost hung up his turntable right then and there. In 2012, though, the UK charts said otherwise, when his third album came in at #1. Since then, Calvin's been glowing up, slowly but surely. Who can forget his famous shoot for Giorgio Armani? He's basically unrecognizable against his teenage self. We all know Ariel as the smart-talking middle child from Modern Family. She was pretty cute as a kid, but now she's just, wow, a whole other person. Getting cast in Modern Family was a huge game changer for Ariel. Little by little, she started to become more confident in breaking out of her shell and becoming more girly. She's found a style of her own and is arguably one of the hottest up-and-coming fashion icons. Okay, I know you don't believe this, but just look at the picture. Megan used to be a major ugly duckling. She had crooked teeth, a unibrow, and a weird low-quality haircut. She also had braces, which, let's face it, no one's pretty with braces on. In an interview, Megan said that her teen years were miserable, claiming that the girls in her school would bully her because she wanted to be an actress, and thought it was dumb of her to want something so elusive. She decided to ignore those nasty girls and go for her dream anyway. It seemed to have paid off, because just a few years later she landed her first movie, Mary-Kate and Ashley's Holiday in the Sun. From there, she garnered more and more attention, and landed the biggest role of her career, Michaela in Transformers. She was named Sexiest Woman of the Year in 2008, beating out Britney Spears by 100 points. Megan Fox is a stone-cold foxy lady. Catherine was just a simple Welsh girl before she became a decorated Hollywood starlet. She grew up going to Catholic school and didn't take to wearing makeup until she was in her late teens. She never did much with her hair. She was more concerned about musical theater and gaining experience as an actress. Her big break into the Hollywood scene was The Mask of Zorro, which she was personally recommended for by Steven Spielberg himself. Even though she started out as a wash-and-go tomboy, Catherine Zeta-Jones has managed to blossom into one of the most glamorous women in Hollywood. Her biggest beauty secret is being born in Wales. Apparently, Welsh genetics are just the best. The quirky, slim guy with a rocker edge wasn't always cool and charismatic. He actually used to be pretty nerdy and overweight. Russell says that he considered himself to be a misfit as a kid. He was chubby and struggling with mental illness. It wasn't until he got the part of Fat Sam in his school's production of Bugsy Malone that he was bitten by the acting bug. At age 11, he became bulimic in an attempt to get the weight off. This behavior eventually led to drug use. But Russell's been clean for a while now. You can now see him in all of his handsome glory, touring with his book on addictions and ranting on his YouTube channel, The Trues. This country singer turned pop princess is pretty much flawless from all angles. But what if we told you she was an ugly duckling as a kid? That's right, the girl who told everyone to shake it off couldn't shake off her ugly. She was chubby as a kid and was made fun of by the other girls in her class. No one would sit with her at lunch. When she would try to sit with the other kids, they would literally stand up and leave. How shady is that? It wasn't until age 16 that Taylor escaped the ridicule and carved herself a niche in the country music world with her mega hit You Belong With Me. Could it be that the lyrics "She wears short skirts, I wear t-shirts, she's cheer captain and I'm in the bleachers" is not so far from Taylor's real life? Middle-aged women across the country are simply head over heels for this studly actor. But what did George Clooney look like before he got all handsome and rugged? Well, he kinda looked like Velma from Scooby-Doo. You may not know this, but at age 11, George developed acute Bell's palsy, which can cause facial paralysis in certain people. His left eye shut, and he couldn't feel his mouth, which caused him to spill drinks on a regular basis. People would call him Frankenstein because, well, he looked pretty freaky. Luckily, the paralysis wasn't permanent, and within a year, Clooney took all he learned from being the odd one out and put it toward his personality. So that's where all that charm comes from. That tan, that sparkling smile, those piercing blue eyes. Ryan is well above the Hollywood beauty standard. But did you know that he used to be a chubby kid with glasses? Apparently, growing up, Ryan Seacrest would keep his shirt on in the community pool to cover up his big belly. He would be embarrassed as a kid when he went shopping for clothes and buy from the Husky Kids section at Marshall's, and would get teased on the playground all the time for being so big. He says that he still sometimes feels like the loser fat kid, but things are different now. Ryan is committed to living a healthy lifestyle, which includes daily exercise and a diet that's high in protein and low in sugar. He tends to go for snacks like vegetable juices and nuts as opposed to the trays of nachos he used to eat as a kid. You may not believe this, but Nicki Minaj used to have a natural look. She said in a recent interview that only true fans will know how different I used to look. She never wore makeup and left her hair natural and frizzy, which is a far call from the elaborate get-up she can be found in nowadays. In 2010, Nicki won Best Female Hip-Hop Artist of the Year, and that's when everything changed. Now you can see her wearing pink wigs, dresses made out of glass, and a Bride of Frankenstein hairdo. If these stars can escape the grasp of their awkward teen years, there might be hope for the rest of us.